So Taron, your first sort of main film lead, was it? Did you sort of pinch yourself that the sort of the first one's such fun, such a riot?
Yeah, it's exactly. It's those days when I was jumping from sofa to sofa in my mum's living room wearing a Superman costume. This is kind of me living out that fantasy as a young adult, I suppose. And it is everything a young man could want in a part, let alone a debut. So yes, I pinched myself every day. I still wake up and wonder, am I going to be interviewed by Joe from Sky News this morning, or am I going to be working in Peacocks like I was when I was 19? So yeah, I'm thrilled to be here.
I mean, forget being interviewed by Sky News. Talk about working with Michael Caine, Colin Firth, Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, often on these sort of sets, you ask the question, did you learn a lot off them?
Yes.
And often people say, well, no, not really. When you're on set, you're all pretty equal, and it's not a young, old.
No.
How did it work on this one?
I think that is the case to an extent. I think. I think that those guys have gotten where they are because they're very, aside from being very talented, they're very gracious people. So they don't make you feel like there's a huge void, as there is, between your status and theirs, because they recognise that in order to make, a good bit of movie, or whatever it may be, a good bit of telly or a good bit of theatre, that you kind of need to level the playing field. But there's a lot you can learn from watching those guys. They've got their personas that they've honed and cultivated that you can't hope to borrow from, really, because I'm not Sam Jackson and I'm not Colin Firth. But there's certainly something in the way they conduct themselves and something in the way they approach their work that you can steal a little bit from. Yeah.
When this film was first sort of mooted, people were saying it was a Bond sort of rip-off, spin-off. You had images almost of sort of a young adult Austin Powers, but it's nothing like that.
No, this isn't Austin Powers, nor is it Bond. I think Austin Powers is deliberately uncool, for comic effect. This film is cool, I think. So yeah, it's got everything. I think what I love about it is it's got everything that's great from Bond. It's got these fantastic set pieces and this unrelenting action, these great fight sequences, but it's got fun to it. It's got its tongue in it's got just the right amount of tongue in its cheek, I think. It's kind of pitched at where Connery and Moore probably pitched their Bonds, I think.
It's incredibly violent.
It's a very violent film, yeah.
I mean, it's comic book violence, I guess you would say, but some might say it's gratuitous. Where do you stand on the sort of violence level of this movie?
Personally, I don't think it is gratuitous, and nor do I think it's gory. I think it would become gratuitous at the point at which it really felt ultra real. Those fight sequences are deliberately comic book. There is a sequence at the end of the film which is getting great responses, which could have very easily been disgusting. It's not. I think it's strangely mesmeric and beautiful. But I think the violence gives it something. It shows the superhuman nature of these characters. It shows what they're capable of, and it's kind of strangely cathartic. I think people would leave something to be desired if it didn't have the level of action that it has, in my opinion.
And just finally, I mean, there's scope here, isn't there, for many more of these films?
There is scope for more.
Without giving anything away, I'm guessing you're up for it. Would you like to do more? Could this be your first franchise?
God, yeah. I mean, I think, personally, I'm you've probably seen my CV. I'm desperate to do more. I'd love to do more of these films. I think it's a great character, and I think there's potentially more story to tell. That being said, it's by no means a certainty. I think it depends entirely on how well the film is received and how many people pop along to see it at the end of this month and Valentine's weekend in America. So if you think you might like to see more, go and see the movie.
And on a different note, Eddie the Eagle, is that right?
Eddie the Eagle is next.
What a
yeah.
part that is.
I know. I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely over the moon. Actually, I'm not the most obvious casting in the world, but I'm really excited about going and doing something that's very different. Matthew Vaughn and a lot of professional people worked very hard to make me look, traditionally good in Kingsman. I'd like to now go and play someone who's a little bit more unusual looking. I think it'll be fun, and he's an amazing character as well. Aside from aesthetics, he's
I've met him. He's a very funny guy.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can do him justice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for that.
Cheers, dude.
See you soon.
Catch you later.